Hi, the following video is a how to fill out the grant application for the Groton Foundation. The first thing you'll need to do is set up an applicant account. If you've not set one up before, use this Create New Account button, put in your email address, and you'll receive an email in your inbox telling you how to set up a new account. If you've already set up an account, just go ahead and fill in your email and your password and log in. If you've forgotten your password, click this Forgot Password button and you'll receive an email in your inbox with a link so you can reset it. The first screen you're going to come to is requesting your tax ID number. If you do not have your tax ID number on you, this is the time to go and get it, because unless you fill in this tax ID number, you cannot proceed with this application. So take a minute, make sure you have it, put it in, and then proceed. Before you begin, we have a few bullet points just to give you some guidance. Limit your use of bullets and other formatting. If you copy and paste, that's fine, but the bullets and dashes or anything like that that you've used for formatting is not going to retain. So feel free to copy and paste, but know that it will paste without the formatting. Log into your Chelsea Groton account that you just created to access your saved and submitted requests. What this means is, if this is not your first application, you can go back to your Chelsea Groton account at this link and access any past saved or submitted requests that you've completed. You'll see a tab that says Submitted, and you'll see a tab that says In Progress. Another good tip is to add mail@grantapplication.com to your safe senders list or your white list to make sure that you receive all of our communications. That's the email address that will be contacting you regarding your application. The very last bullet is always going to tell you what cycle we're in and what the deadline is. So let's get started. The first page is your organization information. This is all pretty straightforward. Your organization name, your legal name, if it differs from your organization name. For example, you may be an organization that goes by an acronym, but your legal name is your whole name spelled out. That's how it is on your tax ID. Your tax ID goes in here, and then select which you are, either a 501c3, a 170c1 for government agencies, or you can say other. If you say other, please enter your tax status in this box here. There are other types of 501c corporations that we can fund. If you're unsure, you can always send an email and ask our question. Your incorporation date, your street address, your city, state, and zip. All of these little red asterisks that you see, these are required fields. If any of these fields are not completed, you will not be able to move forward. The system will tell you what you have missing. So just keep in mind that all of these are required. If you have a physical address that's different from your mailing address above, place it here. Some people use a PO box for mailing address, which is different from their street address. United Way. If your organization receives funding from the United Way, check this box. If not, leave it blank. phone number and fax number for those of you who still use fax, and your web address. The last thing on this page is your mission statement and the history of your organization. This is important for us to get an overall feel for your organization, not necessarily the project that you are applying for, just the statement and history of your organization. Next, we come to the contact information. Your organization primary contact might be the president of your organization. The secondary box here is who can I contact with questions about this application? So this may be the same as the primary contact, or it may be your grant writer, your treasurer, someone who's in charge of grants. So this second box is the person that we're going to do our correspondence with. So this is the one that you want to make sure fields any questions that we have after reviewing your application. Now let's get into the request information. A project title and the purpose of your grant. This box is set for 700 words. It will have a word count for you that will pop up on the side here so you know how far you're going, and it also enables spell check. As you can see, everything on this page is required. So your title, your purpose, the number of people expected to benefit from this program. For example, if you're Habitat for Humanity, you're going to build one house that's going to benefit maybe 4 people. But if you're going to be a food bank and you're going to give out food, you could probably benefit hundreds, if not thousands of people. Your total project budget. What would be the total budget for this project? And of that budget, how much are you requesting from Chelsea Groton Bank? If it's going to be $10,000 for you to repair the walkway to your church, how much of that are you requesting of us? 3,000, 5,000, put that amount in here, but we do want to see your total project budget. Your project start and end date, these are obviously somewhat subjective, dependent upon weather and economic situations. So these can be approximate, but they do have to be filled in. Your last 2 fiscal years need to be entered into these boxes. Very round numbers, do not need to be broken down. Your total income and revenues, your total expenses, and the date. We'd like to see the past 2 years. Later on in the application, you'll have an opportunity to upload your 990 form. The last question on this page is, has your organization received funding from Chelsea Groton Foundation in the past? You have a drop down here for yes, no. And if yes, there's a box over here to the right where you can list the year and the amount. The next page asks you for other sources of funding that you've received or are pending for this particular project. You only have to worry about funding that pertains to this project that you are asking the grant for. The amount, the source, the project, the status, and the award received date. Next up is classification. This is important. We have several program areas here: animal welfare, arts and culture, economic development, education, environment, health and human services, housing, youth activities, and then other. If you check other, please enter in this box what your other program area is. Down at the bottom, we have the geographical area that this project serves. The object of this box is to see where the monies will be spent. As you know, we like to keep our funding in our community, primarily in New London County. So when you select one of these drop downs, this is what you'll see. You'll see it broken down by county, and then by town, and then by village. And at the end, all of these percentages need to add up to 100. If they do not, the system will let you know, and you can adjust your numbers. If you're not sure where exactly, then feel free to just select New London County and put that, your primary location, in the very first slot. And you don't have to fill them all in. You're welcome to just put one, but you do have to put something. The next page is about CRA information. This is the requirements of the Community Reinvestment Act. There are 3 separate questions. The first one refers to low to moderate income meeting the following criteria. And you can go through and see which one applies to your organization. There's an optional box here for further explanation if you're interested in giving us any more info. The second question is 51% or more of the population to be served by your program low to moderate income as defined by the criteria above is a yes or no. And the third question has to do with the program area: affordable housing, community services, neighborhood revitalization, small business, small farm, or not applicable. Lastly, please describe how your organization collects the data to support that your program serves low to moderate income individuals. And write that in this box. If you have any supporting documentation regarding low to moderate income populations, such as an intake form or any other report that you'd like us to be aware of, feel free to upload it here. Just click this browse button, find the form on your computer, and click upload. Speaking of uploads, we're on our upload page. All of these attachments are necessary for you to complete your application. Firstly, we will ask you for your IRS letter or proof of governmental status. This shows that you are in fact a 501c3 or other acceptable status and are exempt for federal taxes. Secondly is your project budget. It doesn't have to be extremely detailed, but we would like to see the general buckets in your budget. Thirdly is a list of your board of directors. Fourth is your Form 990 return. If you don't have a 990 return, just write that you do not have your 990 return available on a piece of paper, upload that piece of paper, and then we'll call you and work with you on completing your application. The very last one here is optional. It's any supplemental supporting documents that you would like us to see in order to consider your grant application. For example, it may be maybe your annual report. It may be a flyer that you use to advertise your program. Maybe your list of other sources of funding. Anything additionally you would like us to see, you may upload here. The very last thing is a certification and signature. Whomever is completing the grant application does need to type their name and title here in this box and check the small box at the very bottom, which serves as your signature. This certifies that you are the organization you say you are, and that you are the person who is responsible for any funds that might be received. Now, as you notice, actually, this is available on every page. There's a save and finish for later, or there's a review and submit button. At any time, you can save and finish later and come back to finish your application. When you log back into your applicant account, you'll see the tab that says in progress. And there you'll find your half completed application that you can then finish. If you're all set, review and submit is the button for you. You'll click it, your entire application will come up in front of you. You'll have a chance to go through step by step, make sure there's nothing that you want to change. If you do want to change it, this is your time to do it, because once it's submitted, it cannot be recalled. So please be sure that you have all of the information correct before you click that submit button. Once you do hit the submit button, you will receive an email in your inbox stating that we received your application. Just remember that applications are due the third Friday of every April and the third Friday of every September. Therefore, we will not review any applications until after that due date. If you have any further questions on the application, you can go to the Chelsea Groton Foundation page on the Chelsea Groton website, chelseagroton.com/CG Foundation. There's a nice list of frequently asked questions there. There's also contact information for you to get in touch with someone to assist you. Our email is giving@chelseagroton.com. Hopefully this will help you get through your application a little bit easier.